Like, are you kicking cats, sir? Like, are you kicking cats? Yeah, like my braids. I did them myself. Let me know if you want like a tutorial or something. They're French curl, and then I made the two front braids boho. Anyway, hello you guys. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Darian, aka LOL Not Darian, on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. As you can see by the title, today is a story time. I think I'm gonna name it My Psychotic Sneaky Link. Yeah, because the man was psycho. The man was fucking bananas. He was nuts. Anyway, as you can see, there we go. Bailey, she's in her cat tree, knocked the fuck out, leaving me alone. And as you can see, it's a different background. This time around, we are in my bedroom. I think I might start filming here just because I like the background a lot more than like my whole fucking apartment being in the background of my apartment. I mean, being in the background of my videos. These braids are itchy, bruh. Anyway, but anyway, let's get into this story. So, I was in a relationship for 3.5 years. It was a very interesting one. I'm probably not going to get into it. But after he and I broke up in July of 2023, yeah, July 2023, I decided that I was going to start, you know, seeing what was out there for me, right? So, where did I go? After I linked up with I linked up with a guy from Instagram first. He had like always been in my DMs, and I just honestly wanted some peen, got some peen and dipped. But after that, I decided to get on Tinder. What? Yeah. So, and I'm swiping, I'm swiping, I'm swiping, I'm swiping, I'm swiping. I find this guy. We're gonna call him Jonathan. Not his name at all whatsoever. Jonathan was very, 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 very fine. Okay? Very fine. I don't know why I always, first of all, is something wrong with men that make music? Don't ever in your life be with a man that makes music, because he is most likely, like 98% chance, he is out of his fucking mind. And I'm so serious. Don't believe me? Ask my homegirls. Men that make music are not in their right mind ever at any moment in time. But he also like always used to heavily filter his pictures, but you could just tell that he was very fine. I think he probably just had like some type of aesthetic for his Instagram or whatever. I decided to match, or not match with him, but like I swiped right, I think. Yeah, I swiped right. Yeah, that means he liked him. I swiped right. We ended up matching or whatever. He messaged me. I told him to follow me on Instagram. He followed me on Instagram. We DM'd there back and forth. And I was kind of like wary, because my whole thing this go around was that I wanted to be courted. I didn't want to just be laid up in somebody's house. I had had enough of that in my past relationship. And so I was just kind of over that. I wanted to be courted. I wanted to go out on dates. I wanted to be out of the house with the person, see if I can enjoy them, in public, because of course I can enjoy you in private. Like I can just, you know, be with your privates. So I didn't really care to like explore that, like how we do in the house. I wanted to be out and about having fun, blah blah blah. And I saw that his bio on Tinder was that he was looking for a cuddle buddy. So I was kind of wary, but I was just like, okay, And then also the man was like 27. It's like, why are you 27 looking for a cuddle buddy? Like, you are grown as shit. And oh my God, craziest shit ever. he had the same birthday as my ex, like the same exact birthday. They weren't born in the same year, obviously, because he was older, but like the Jonathan was older, but he they were born on the same exact day. They were both Pisces. I don't know what it is about being a Pisces man, because my boyfriend is a Pisces. Yeah, yeah, it's something about them Pisces man. Anyway, so I found the messages while my laptop was updating. So basically, he had like messaged me on Instagram after I gave him my Insta and told him to just DM me there. And oh, okay, I'd asked him like where he stayed at, because a lot of people stay like in Houston. I don't stay in Houston. I stay like on the north side in the suburbs. And so I had asked him, like my boyfriend now, this man lives on like the southwest side. Like it literally takes about 50 to 55 minutes. Some like the shortest it's ever been is 40 minutes to get to his house. So, that's always an important question to ask, but if they're worth it, you're going to make the drive no matter what. I ended up finding out that he only lived about like 10 minutes away from me. And then this is like so icky. He like, I was just like, oh yeah, no. Everyone's always lives on the south side, so I'm always having to go downtown to meet with friends. It's such a hassle. And he was like, yeah, I'd like my cuddle buddy slash boo close to me instead of far away. You are 20. You are 47. Why are you talking about a cuddle buddy? Like that is so just if you guys see, I have the blanket on me. It's a little chilly in my house, but I'm not turning on the heat obviously because so he asked, are we coming up with a mutual agreement on our dynamic? And I was like, elaborate for me. Like I put a question mark. I was like, elaborate for me. And he was like, maybe in your fun outside of home. And I said, well, in a way, I meant, because I think I said like I want fun outside of the house. I want to have fun outside of the house. I don't want to just cuddle. And he took that as like, oh, she's gonna come and like have sex. And so I was like, well, in a way, I meant fun outside of any home. And I like basically just saying like, I'm not really, I was like, I just gotten out of a committed relationship, so I'm not really interested in laying up with somebody at the moment. If you're not okay with that, I completely understand, because that seems to be what you want. And he was basically, he read me. He was like talking about how I shouldn't be talking to anybody, but like, girl, mind your fucking business. You shouldn't be. This man shouldn't be talking to anybody. This man is out of his fucking mind. He should literally never ever procreate or have any conversations with anybody ever again as a black woman, because he is so weird. But anyway, you'll see. So basically we like had a whole long conversation or whatever. We exchanged numbers. He told me like, yeah, I'm not trying to have sex either. What did he say? He was just like, he had asked what his boundaries is, and I said, don't try to have sex with me too early. And I said, physical touch or affection here and there is welcomed. I just want to get to know you before we take it to cuddling and that type of intimacy. You can call me whenever you'd like. Just text me and let me know beforehand, because I'm not a big phone call type of person, which is true. I like, if I'm not in the mood and I get a phone call out of the blue, like, even if it's my mom or something, I will start rolling my eyes so fucking hard. Because what do you want? I love my mom, but it's just like, what do you want? My daddy called me while I was at the vet, thankfully. So like when the vet came in, I was like, oh, I gotta call you, bye, love you, bye. Because what do you want from me? This man just sit on the phone. Yeah. Like, yeah, what? What, nigga, you called me to just be silent? Like, what do you need to talk about? Like, he's just, anyway. But yeah, so that whole thing happened, right? He told me like, I won't like try to have sex with you soon and blah blah blah. So we started texting, right? And one thing that I noticed off rip is that he never complimented me. Even like when we first like started messaging on Tinder, he never like said that I was pretty, nothing like that. It was just um he just started out with conversation. And so it was just like, okay, and I'm not gonna lie, one of the huge red flags for me was when I was telling him what I like to watch and I asked him what he likes to watch, and this man said all he ever watches all day, every day is fucking ESPN. Those are the type of men that need to go to hell. The men that only watch ESPN are so strange and they're so like male centered, and he absolutely was. He was very male centered. Fast forward, he and I started texting, blah blah blah, and I had told him that I wanted to go on dates, and he was like, I don't know if because I just got out of a relationship, he was like, I'm not going to be taking you on dates, and if I do, the dates are going to be very simple. And I was like, I'm okay with the simple date, but I'm not trying to be in the house with you. So he was like, okay, let's go to lunch then. This is also another red flag, at least for me. If you don't drink and you don't do drugs and you are under the age of 30, there is probably something very mentally wrong with you. Like, you're probably very mentally tormented. And I know that sounds like so fucking nuts and like just like, damn, a nigga can't just, like to be sober. No. I'm sorry, no. At least not around me, and it's not even like about sobriety or anything like that. Like, unless you have a good reason, like, oh yeah, I just like, I never know how to say enough is enough. It's like usually a lot of times when guys who are under the age of 30 don't like to smoke or drink, or people in general, they always say it's because they don't like to feel out of control of their own body, which I get it, but it also gives control freak. And usually the people that like don't smoke or drink at all, ever, never, they are usually the scariest type of people you could ever run into. And he was one of them. So, fast forward, he and I were on the phone, and we were on the phone for a week straight for like 8 hours. Like, literally just talking and talking and talking. If we weren't talking, we were like enjoying the silent times and the phone call, but like it was like we were on FaceTime the entire day or on the phone the entire day. And I was like working from home around that time. I don't know why. I didn't feel like going into work. So I was always at home. Because around that time, I didn't really have a team just yet. Like, my manager, he was moving from a different country to come work in America for our company. Um, so he wasn't really like, since he was in the office, it didn't make sense for me to really be in the office around that time. So yeah, I was always at home, and since I was working from home, and then also I was sick still, so since I was working from home, Jonathan and I, we would just get on the phone for hours on end. So something that I noticed off rip, even though the conversation was good, he was very odd. And let me tell you how he was odd. So he hated black women. Like, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. He was like one of those black men where their talking point was always what black women are doing wrong within the community, and never what black men were doing wrong within the community as well. And so he was like one of those guys that it was always some talking point about how he can't stand ratchet ghetto bitches, and he he was saying how he absolutely fucking hates Sexy Red. Like, he was one of them niggas. I hate Sexy Red, that nasty ghetto dirty ass bitch. Like, he would always tell me how he was so fucking for sure that she had herpes, and like, the man was out of his mind in that regard. I remember there was like this one tweet of this woman. It was this bigger woman. I need to find the tweet, but she was like, she had posted something about like, I, she had posted a picture, right? And she was like, she put the Meg lyrics as the caption where it was like, I got your boyfriend forehead on my tummy. And this guy has said something like, oh, lift your belly up so we can find him or some shit like that. And she dragged the fuck out of him. And I was like, so I was like, okay, she ate. And she was fucking gorgeous. Like, bro, what the fuck is your problem? Like, it was just so unprovoked, like him saying that, right? And so she dragged the fuck out of him. And I was on the phone with Jonathan at the time that I saw the tweet. And so I was like, oh my God. Because I couldn't help but just like verbally react, right? And he was like, what? And I told him this, I told him about the tweet. And I was like, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you. Because this shit, like, you got to see it for yourself. This shit is so fucking wild. Like, it's hilarious, but it is wild. So I sent it to him. And he read it. And he was like, okay. Her big ass dude needs to lose some fucking weight, though. Oh, no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, like it was just like, you're one of those. Okay. All right. Sorry. My this hair is itching the fuck out of my titty. So, I remember he was like also like, if you know those like, I feel like they're all one and the same, the black men that hate black women and always have something to like say when it comes to black women and what we're doing wrong within the community. They're always also the type of black men that indulge in conspiracy theories. And he was one of those people. I remember I got tickets to the Beyonce concert with my best friend, and we took both of our moms to the concert. And the concert was coming up, and I was on the phone with him telling him about it. And he was like, what did he say? He said something like, I was like, oh, I hope that Meg comes out because she's been, bringing people to all of the cities, like whatever city that they originate in, she's been bringing them on stage. And, she has a song with Meg. It would just make sense if she brought Meg out on stage in Houston, and he was like, Meg wouldn't be called dead in Houston. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? And he was like, she wouldn't be called dead in Houston, because of that lawsuit that she got with 1501. Like 1501 wants her head, and so she knows that the minute she touches down in Houston, like she's gonna get taken out. And I was like, where are you getting this from? He was like, I'm just saying, like, because remember how I said that men that are artists you need to stay away from. He was an artist, and but like he was nobody like big. Like he did videos and shit, but like it was like he was the opening act to the opening act type of shit. So he like, and please understand, like I was not trying to be with him because of that. Like I just thought he was cute. So anyway, he was like, yeah, no, like I'm in the industry. No, you're not, sir. You're literally applying to be a fucking flight marshal. Like, you're a military man that makes music on the side and does bodyguard gigs. You are not in the industry. I don't know, like, maybe the military complex industry, but not the music industry. But anyway, he was like, I'm in the industry and like I know like the ins and outs of it and blah blah blah. And I know that 1501, they run shit here in Houston. They run shit here in Houston. And the minute Meg steps down in Houston, they gonna take her out and blah 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 blah. She wouldn't dare come back to Houston. That's a long shot. She would never come back to Houston. And guess where Meg was? Guess where Meg was? Oh, by the way, I got my Meg tickets for the Houston show Saturday night, June 15th. Can't wait. Guess where Meg's gonna be? 2 nights in a row, just like she was 2 nights in a row. Like, nigga, shut the hell up. Shut up, you stupid bitch. Shut up. Like, it was so irritating. But anyway, so he was very odd in that way. And it was because, and then like, I remember there was this Instagram video, and I think like the issue was that, or not the issue, but like The thing is that he was one of those people where his feed was a lot of things that he didn't really, he said that he didn't like to engage in or indulge in, but somehow it was always on his feed, you know? And I understand like what your friends look at end up popping up on your page, but if you don't like it, you can tell Instagram that you're not interested in that type of content and tell them to never show you things from either that account or things that have to do with um that type of video ever again. Bailey, what are you doing? On Instagram one day, and there was a video of this. The whole like premise of the video was that the a mother, a black mother, had instructed her daughter to lie and say that her dad was doing some things to her so that she could get like full custody or something like that. And he watched the video, and while I'm in the middle of like talking to him, he goes, "Oh, I just can't stand black mamas." What? Like, what? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he was like, I'm sorry, not all. I guess just to say, I guess I should say I hate some black mamas. And I'm like, no, you just shouldn't say it, period. But like, okay, you know. And he was very weird in that way. If anybody is wondering about like how his mom was, he hated his mom. Like, he just did not like black women. He was very weird. And like my friend, like, so I was telling her how his like celebrity crush was the singer Her. And she was like, well, I mean, I get it, she's pretty. And like, I do get it, but it's also a very large example of the type of black woman he liked, which was one, a black woman who is mixed, and then two, a black woman who meets and abides by respectability politics. That's why he doesn't like the sexy reds of the world. That's why he, you know, says the things that he says. That's why he doesn't like fat black women. Like, that's why, because of his underlying self hatred when it comes to black women. So that was that on that. I went on a solo date. Oh no! So fast forward, we were on the phone. This was like the first week of us getting to know each other. He told me that he wanted to take me out on a lunch date. I'm like, okay, we can go on a lunch date. Um, the day comes around, and I ended up linking. He and I had a conversation about my one of my best friends. She and I had actually fallen out about like 2 years ago, I want to say. And we weren't really speaking or whatever. And it wasn't like anything bad at all whatsoever. Like, she and I did not have any like actual beef at all whatsoever. We literally just stopped speaking. That's it. She just stopped texting me back. And I was just like, okay, you know, she's not texting me back. I'm not going to keep pressing the issue. Or not pressing the issue, but I'm not going to keep like pressing it to like talk to her and hang out with her and things if she's not texting me back. So we just stopped speaking completely. So fast forward, I was like telling him about her because, you know, when you're on the phone with somebody for 8 hours a day, 5 days straight, you know, shit's gonna come out. So I was telling him about her and just like telling him about our friendship and everything and how great our friendship was and how like I really missed her, how I would never talk bad about her because we had such a good friendship. So I was telling him like, yeah, no, we don't talk anymore, blah blah blah. I missed her, da da da. And he was like, so then what's stopping you from talking to her? And I was like, well, I mean, like, it would be awkward, blah blah blah. He was like, why would it be awkward? And I was like, you know, like, I forgot what I told him. And he was like, okay, so what I'm hearing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was like, would it really be awkward or are you just making excuses? And I was like, gag me? Maybe I am making excuses, you know? So I was like, I'm making excuses. He's like, yeah, you're making excuses. Hit her up and tell her you miss her, or no, he was like hit her up and straighten things out. So that's what I did. I hit her up. I literally just texted her, and or I DM'd her, um, and I was like blah blah blah, because I'm not gonna say her name on here, but I was like blah blah blah. She was like, what? And I was like, I miss you. And she was like, I miss you too. And like that's like how we ended up being friends again. So the day that he and I were supposed to go on the lunch date, she and I had actually already made lunch plans because he started talking about taking me to dinner. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on a lunch date with my friend, and then I wanted to go on a painting with a twist with my mom because my mom loves that shit. And so I was like, I want to go on a painting with a twist with my mom, and then you and I can go to dinner after that. And he was like, okay. So when I got finished with the painting with a twist, literally the studio that the painting thing was at was across the street from his apartment complex. So like that was the whole reason why I made sure to go to that one, was because right afterwards I would just meet him at his apartment and then we would go get dinner together. So when he didn't or no, like when I got done, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm about to like head to your place. He was like, oh, actually, one of my friends like is like a last minute thing. We're having a surprise party for him and blah blah blah. So I can't tonight, but we'll reschedule. Like, okay. So long story short, he never reschedules. He just keeps it goes from let's do dinner to let's do a movie night and I cook for you at my house. Now, I don't know which video I'm gonna post first. I don't know if I'm gonna post this video or my other Let's Talk video about settling versus compromise. But if y'all remember, I was talking about like how I want to be taken out on dates, and so if a man starts talking about let me just cook at my place for you, no. So when he said that, I already knew what type of time it was on. I was just like, okay, like I'm not about to do this with you. So fast forward, I was just trying to like, get back into the groove of knowing myself and knowing what I like, knowing what I appreciate, things like that, and doing things that I'd always wanted to do when I was in a relationship with my ex, but just never being able to do because he never wanted to do it with me. But if I went and did something by myself, he would get upset because why didn't you ask me? I would have went. No, he wouldn't have. He would have just complained and asked me why I wanted to go and then talked me out of doing it by myself. So I just ended up like never doing anything unless I was doing it with him, which turned into us just never doing anything because he would always try to find something bad about it or something negative about it. So fast forward, I was like, I went on a solo date and I got myself all dressed up and so I got all dressed up and everything and I went to Mastro's and I had like a nice dinner by myself and I had like, I've been going doing pottery and everything, blah blah blah, but this time I went to Mastro's. So afterwards I got home and I was laying in my bed and Jonathan had texted me, or I was texting Jonathan, like we were texting back and forth, and basically I told him I wanted some dick. He said, okay, pull up. So guess what I did? I pulled up, I got some dick. I got some dick. And it was, honestly, it was good. It was good, I'm not gonna lie, but, it was dick. And at that point, when that happened, I think like even before that happened, I just kind of like marked him up or like marked him down as a sneaky link, and that's just what it was going to be for the two of us, right? Fast forward again. This was now, let me see when this was, because I don't remember, honestly. So I met my man, I'm pretty sure September 9th, and then a week later, he and I went on our very first date. And it was a great first date. I didn't even get to take any well, I did take some pictures. I'll put them on the screen. But like it was very, very, very minimal pictures. I met him September 9th, September 16th, we went on our first date. And then we literally, I want to say like 2 weeks later, I was just hooked. I was hooked on phonics. Okay, hooked on him, like hooked on chronics. Okay, it was bad. And but not in a bad way because he's a great man. So, if I could choose any man to be hooked on, I would hope that it would be him. Fast forward, I go on my date with my now boyfriend, then just, a guy I was seeing, a prospect. And he and I hit it off. Like literally we hit it off as soon as as soon as we start texting, and then when we go on the date, it was like literally phenomenal. Yeah. And then so fast forward, I had just kind of started being cool um off of Jonathan, because it was also just a thing of like he was being very, very, very strange, like very strange, not just like not towards me at all, but like strange when it came to like just the whole thing about him like talking about black women. It just started to like rub me the wrong way really badly, and I just didn't want to really like have any more conversations with him because he always found a way to sneak that in there, and it was just like give it a rest, like it was just so weird. So um fast forward, I was telling him how I wanted a cat. This is around the time that I started thinking about getting a cat, and he had told me, um okay, like, that's cool, whatever, just don't bring it around me because I'm gonna kick it. And I was like, that's that's strange. Yeah. But at the same time, it didn't like for real put me off guard because I thought he was just one of like those people that just hates cats for no reason. You know how like some black people like they hate cats, but they hate cats to like an unhealthy degree, and you're just like there's literally nothing wrong with cats. Like when you have a cat and you're their person, they will love you down. Okay? So it was just like I was like okay, whatever. So I had like gotten to a point where I had literally just stopped texting him. I had literally just stopped texting him. Like he would text me, I would text him back, and then he would text me again, like, conversation wise, and then I just wouldn't reply for a week until he texted me again. So he can tell that something is going on with me, but I'm not really like saying anything. I need to just settle for coming over to your house, watching you play the PlayStation until you're ready to give me some dick, and then I dip out. Like I'm not. That's not what I'm about to do at my grown ass age. So, he remember how I said he never complimented me? You know how men get whenever they feel that you're starting to pull away, so they start like doing the shit that you have been wanting them to do. Yeah, he was in that phase. So he started for the first time ever. When I say ever, I mean ever. For the first time ever, he liked an Instagram story of mine. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And then and it's not weird, it's only weird because he had never done it before. And then he started like swiping up on my Instagram stories and like complimenting me. And I'm like you ain't never did that shit before. Why you think today was the day to do that? Like, like it was so strange because he had never done it before. And so, and that's also another thing. Ladies, if he does not compliment you, leave that man where the fuck he's at. Leave him where he's at. Don't ever let a man have you guessing if you are attractive to them. So y'all, I'm so annoyed right now. I am like up and down the wall livid. Um, but you just gotta take the punches and roll with them. My fucking audio cut out at the part where I was telling y'all about that was like literally one of the most fucking important parts of the entire story. So, and I know I keep saying I need to buy a mic. I bought a mic. Yeah, I bought a mic. See, you idiot. That's what you get. Um, I bought a mic and bought it from Amazon. When I was reading the description, it said that it could be connected by Bluetooth. Little did I know it can only be it can only be connected by Bluetooth to an iPhone. So really, really, really fucking annoyed, but it's just gonna be what it is. Stop, Bales. So I'm going to try and say this fast because the last part was like 20 minutes long from what I was looking at. So I'm gonna try and say it faster this time. But basically, so I left off at the part where he started complimenting me. He started swiping up on my stories and like putting hard eyes on them and all that shit. Just basically telling me how I was pretty for the very first time. Remember I said that he had never complimented me before. And so now that I'm starting to pull back away from him, that's when he starts complimenting me. Anyway, fast forward, it was my birthday. I spent my 25th birthday with my now boyfriend. It was Bailey. It was a phenomenal day. Literally like one of the best birthdays I've ever had. It was so great. And I after that, literally the very next day, I went and got Bailey from a shelter. So I got Bailey for my 26th birthday. My 25th birthday. That was my birthday present to myself. And I remember when I got her, she had an upper respiratory infection or a respiratory infection. I don't think they have upper and lower, but so I had to take her to the vet as soon as I got her from the shelter. Like the very next day, I took her to the shelter to get her checked out. Took her to the vet to get her checked out to show the shelter anything that she had. Because if you get your pet from the shelter and they have any type of illness or something, within the first 72 hours of you bring them home from the shelter will take care of all the medical bills. So you don't have to worry about anything. Like you don't have to pay for anything. So took her to the vet, got her antibiotics, and she got better. But when I found out that she had a respiratory infection, I was telling all my friends and everything, and I told him, and I was just like, yeah, no, she has a respiratory infection, blah blah blah. And all my friends, they were like, oh, the poor baby, I hope she's okay, I hope the medicine works, blah blah blah. Regular human shit, regular human sympathy, empathy, whatever you want to call it. He did not have the same reaction. He was like, "Oh, she'd be alright. She alright. I don't know why you worrying so much. She'll be okay." It's like that's really odd. You can't even just have an ounce of sympathy. Fast forward, I went on a birthday trip with my family to Destin. Came back about a week later, I think, and sorry, my eye is just so bad. Came back a week later and I was at work, but I think when I came back I came back in the middle of the week from my trip and I worked from home the last 2 days of the week. And so I can't remember if I was working from home this day or if I came back from work, if this was the following week and I came back home from work and got in the tub. But either way, I got off work and Jonathan started texting me. And he had texted me while I was on my trip, but remember how I said that he started complimenting me? I was posting pictures throughout the trip. I was sending them to my man, and he was like, you look good. And then I would take different pictures and I would post them on my Instagram story. And Jonathan would swipe up and tell me basically how I look good or whatever. He would heart-eyed or whatever. And just to clarify, my man was not my man back then, but at that point I had already accepted he was going to be my man. But anyway, so Yeah, so Jonathan would like swipe up on my Instagram stories and like tell me how good I looked and like hard eyes and everything. And I literally had stopped texting him, but he would text me and I just wouldn't reply. So anyway, I get back home after work, or I was already at home and I got off work, and he texts me. And so I'm in a really, really, really good mood. So I text him back, but it's not like on that type of time. Like at that point, um, I had just kind of accepted that me and Jonathan were just going to be friends if there was going to be any type of relationship between us. So I was just texting him on a friend level, and we were literally just having like regular conversation, right? So when Bailey was a baby, she was very, very, very clingy. She liked to be on me, like white on rice. And so there was a time, or like, during that time, whenever I would take baths, she always wanted to be on the ledge of the bathtub, like, where you could put your arm whenever you're sitting in the bathtub. That's where she always wanted to be. So, while I was taking a bath, I was like texting Jonathan. I was texting like all my friends and my man. And Bailey had came out to the side of the tub, and she kept trying to like jump into the tub because she just wanted to like be near me. So, and she kept like whining anytime like she couldn't successfully jump up. So I ended up just picking her up and putting her on the ledge next to me in the bathtub. Obviously not in the bathtub, but like while I was in the bathtub, she's on the ledge next to me. And she stops whining, right? So I send him this text message, and I actually sent it to literally everybody that I was texting. I sent it to all my friends, my man, and him. And I was just like, I sent him a picture of Bailey, and it's the same picture I sent everybody else. And I was just like, wouldn't stop meowing or trying to jump in until I put her on the ledge next to me. Now she's silent. And he said, I hope it jumps in. And I was like, that's weird. That's a weird thing to say. So I like put a question mark on it. I questioned the message. And he said, the cat, LOL. And I was like, I know, but why? Because, like, why are you? And I gave him the benefit of the doubt because when he said, I hope it jumps in, he and I would always have dickhead banter where we would just like talk shit to each other. So I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe he's saying he hopes that she jumps into my bath water because that would be gross for me to have my cat in my bath water. So I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, like maybe he's just being a dickhead or something. So let him explain himself. Because I'm that type of person, like, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to explain yourself before I just like take a step back. You know what I mean? So I asked him why he said that, and he was like, because they're the damn devil. This man is 74 years old, still using the wrong there. Because they're the damn devil. I said, why do you say that, LOL? He said, LOL, because they are, and they do shit intentionally. So I'm gonna stop there real quick because this is like something that irritates me. And if I'm not saying it completely how I need to say it, is because I've had to say this for the third time now. But I hate when people who hate cats say that they do things intentionally and say that they're evil, because that's not what that is. If they are doing something that you don't like, they're not doing it because they know you don't like it or they're trying to like be bad. They're doing it because they're animals. At the end of the day, their instincts run them. If they are doing something that you don't like, the only way that they know they're not supposed to be doing it is because they know you don't like it based off of your reactions. For instance, let's say like with Bailey, she knows that I don't like her jumping on my counters, but she does it sometimes. It's not because she's trying to be evil or spiteful or anything like that. It's because she's literally bored and she wants me to play with her, and she sees it as a game. Whenever she jumps on my counters and I chase after her, she runs off and runs into my bedroom and hides. And so it's not even her like doing it because she's trying to be evil. It's her trying to initiate me playing with her. And I think like that's the issue, is that people always try to assign like human things to animals In order for something to be evil, they have to know that what they're doing is not morally right. Cats are animals. They don't know that. They don't know that what they're doing isn't morally right. They don't even know that what they're doing isn't subjectively okay. They just know that they want to do it, and so they're going to do it because they're an animal. And what else are they going to fucking do? The animals don't have self-restraint because they have no moral code and no moral judgment. And I just need people to understand that. But anyway, so he said that, and I was like, "You've been around them like that?" And he said, "No and yes, lol. The times I have, let's just say I won." And I was like, "You won?" Like, I remember like reading that to myself, like, what the hell is he talking about? And he said, "But I hate them. I don't want them touching me, period, nor do I care for them. So it'll never happen of me being around them." And I said, "They probably attacked you because they could feel your energy, but I guess." And he was like, "LOL, oh, they never attacked me, but they used to fly in the air when I saw them." Like, are you kicking cats, sir? Like, are you kicking cats? And so I was just like, huh? And I asked him, I was like you would kick them? And he was like, "Do I like dogs?" And I was like, "Are you changing the subject?" And he said, "No, lol. It was going to answer your question, but I only like certain types of animals. I just hate bitch ass cats." And so I followed it up with, "But did you kick them?" He said, "Do you own a cat?" Basically, like, if my answer is yes, that's his answer. "Do you own a cat?" "Yes, I own a cat." "Yes, this nigga's kicking cats." And so I was like, "So you were kicking cats unprovoked?" And he said, "No, they provoked it." And I replied, "You said they didn't attack you though, because run back literally like what 5 seconds ago, the man literally said, 'Oh no, they didn't attack me.'" And he said, They came near me and tried to touch me without my consent." I literally stopped texting him because that was just like the weirdest shit ever. Like, you're going around kicking cats because they came near you and touched you. And if they're not attacking you, then that means that they probably came up to him and like rubbed up against him or something. What? That is so fucking weird. That is weird. And so fast forward, I literally stopped texting him completely because that just made me feel uneasy. Like I had a pit in my stomach after that message that he sent. I was just like, okay, like I'm over it, you know? And so he had or no, so fast forward, my best friend's birthday is 2 weeks after mine. So me and some of our friends went up to her place in Fort Worth because she lives in Fort Worth right now. And we went there to celebrate her birthday with her, and we went bar hopping around Fort Worth. It was a great time, had a phenomenal night. I was taking pictures, putting them on my Instagram stories, and Jonathan was swiping up and like hard eyeing them, telling me how good I looked and everything else. And so it was just like, he had texted me Sunday morning and he was like, "Ooh, you had a night, huh?" I didn't reply. So Wednesday, he texted me and he said, "So I assume we are cutting communication." And I told him, "Yeah, I'm sorry. The whole convo about you kicking cats made me feel uneasy. Even when I didn't like cats, I felt the same way you did. I never thought about harming them. I think that was a pretty extreme response to being around them, and that's really not a type of person I want to associate with. I hope you find the perfect person for you, though, because you're such a great person to talk to. I wish you all the best." And that was the last convo we had. He removed me as a follower and unfollowed me on Instagram, and that was the very last time we ever spoke, ever, ever, ever in our lives. But yeah, that was that. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, like, why were you still friends with him after the whole black woman thing? And I completely understand it. Like, I understand like why that question arose or arises or whatever. It was mainly because I felt like there had to be some type of good in him because he gave me the advice I needed to reconnect with one of my best friends. And so I was just like, there has to be some type of light that gave me that type of advice, you know what I mean? That gave me that advice to help me reconnect with her. And so I wanted to stick around and be his friend because I felt like there was some good in him. And I don't think that he's like completely evil, but I think he's not right mentally. And I don't think he ever will be because he's just. And then, oh, I forgot to tell y'all. I completely forgot to tell y'all. Because I know people are going to be like, well, why didn't he just go to therapy? He did. He went to therapy after his. So he was actually in a relationship for 5 years. I don't know what happened, honestly and truly, but they ended up breaking up, and he would like tell me about her all the time. And I mean, I didn't mind because I would tell him about my ex. He went to therapy, but his therapist would just enable him. And he like was the type of person that went to therapy just to work on his that went to therapy to work on his self-esteem and nothing else. He didn't go there to like deep dive into the emotions that he had, the mindsets that he had, the morals that he had. He didn't go to therapy for any of that. He just went to therapy to make him feel better about his looks and the type of man that he was, the type of person that he was. Because he would always, always, always say this thing. He'd always be like, "I'm a good man. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. I'm a good man." And like, it's that type of thing for me. It's just like if you can't wait for somebody else to tell you you're a good person, and you have to say that you're a good person, and every new person that you run into you're telling them like you're a good person. 9 times out of 10 you're not a good fucking person, because you most likely waited for other people around you to tell you that you're a good person, and nobody has had the urge to tell you that you're a good person because you're not one. And so you decide to beat them to the punch. That's never going to come by telling everybody that you're a good person instead. And so he was that type of guy, you know. He was always saying how good of a man he was, and how his sneaky links, you know, they would always want more from him because they could tell that he was a good man, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay. Like, okay, I don't know what you want me to do with this information, you know. So he was that type of person. Yeah, he was an oddball. He was very weird, very strange. I completely forgot until I was telling my friend about this that there was one part where he and I were talking about like religion and everything, and we were just talking about how we're both not Christians or whatever. And he had taken it a step further to talk about why he didn't believe in God. So I believe in God, I'm just not Christian. He was taking a step further to tell me how he didn't believe in God and why. And he said that he did an experiment one time, which I think is crazy. Like, testing God is like, it's actually nuts. He said that he tested God, and so he decided to stop praying for a whole year, but keep working at his goals the entire year. And he said at the end of the year, when he looked up and had accomplished everything without praying to God about it, he was like, that's when I realized that, you know, I am God. When I tell y'all this man was actually nuts, I mean it. Make sure that you give us a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, you know, all that good shit. Follow me on all my social media. It will be on my outro, I think. I hope. It'll be in the description box, so you can do it there. Yeah. Yeah, there's no excuses right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was not supposed to happen. Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so much.